What if I told you that the person you think you are might not be you at all? That the smile you wear, the choices you make, and even the thoughts in your mind may belong more to society than to your soul. Most people live their entire lives without ever meeting their real self. They wake up, play their roles, wear their masks, and die as strangers to their own soul. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds of psychology, warned us, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But the tragedy is that very few people ever claim that privilege. The question is, will you? From the moment we are born, the world begins to shape us. Parents tell us how to behave. Teachers tell us what to believe. Friends tell us what is acceptable. Society tells us what success looks like. Slowly, we build a mask, a polished version of ourselves that wins approval and avoids rejection. Jung called this mask the persona. On the surface, the persona is useful. Without it, we couldn't survive socially. It allows us to play roles: student, employee, spouse, leader. But here's the danger. When you wear the mask too long, you forget that it's only a mask. You begin to think that the persona is your real identity. Imagine a man who smiles at every party, laughs with every joke, and looks successful in every photo. But when he is alone, his laughter vanishes. He feels hollow, disconnected, exhausted. That is the burden of living through the persona. It's like living in someone else's skin, smooth on the outside, but suffocating inside. But the persona is only half the story. Behind the mask lies something far more dangerous: the shadow. The shadow is everything you repress, deny, or hide from the world. Your anger, envy, lust, weakness, fears, shame. The more you deny these parts, the stronger they grow in the dark. Jung warned, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Think about it. Have you ever exploded in anger and wondered, where did that come from? Or found yourself judging someone harshly, only to realize you secretly share their flaws? That's the shadow breaking through. Most people are terrified of facing their shadow. They project it onto others, blaming, hating, attacking. Wars, hatred, envy, all are fueled by unintegrated shadows. But here's the truth. Your shadow is not your enemy. Hidden inside it are not only your demons, but also your power, creativity, and strength. To reject the shadow is to reject half of yourself. Beyond the persona and the shadow lies something deeper, the self. This is not the self of everyday language. It's not your ego, not your roles, not your desires. The self, according to Jung, is your true essence, the wholeness of who you are meant to be. Think of it as the sun behind the clouds. The persona is the cloud cover we show to the world. The shadow is the storm we hide within, but the self is the radiant light waiting to break through. The tragedy is that most people never experience it. They live and die under masks and storms, never seeing their own sunlight. The self calls to us in dreams, in longings, in strange synchronicities. That restless feeling that something is missing in your life, that's the self trying to speak. The question is, will you listen? Jung discovered that within every human psyche live universal patterns he called archetypes. These are ancient blueprints of the human soul. The hero, the mother, the trickster, the wise old man. They live in myths, stories, and dreams across all cultures. But they are not just stories. They live inside you. They shape your desires, your fears, your destiny. When an archetype takes hold, you feel it as if some invisible hand is guiding your life. The hero archetype pushes you to chase impossible goals. The lover archetype burns with passion. The shadow archetype tempts you into destruction. To ignore these forces is dangerous because they don't vanish. They act out unconsciously, controlling you from the dark. But when you recognize them, when you learn their language, you begin to harness their power. You stop being a puppet of your unconscious and start becoming its master. So what happens if you refuse this journey? Jung called it non-individuation, the refusal to become whole. The cost is high. You live a borrowed life, chasing dreams that were never yours. You achieve success but feel empty inside. You drown in addictions, distractions, endless noise, anything to avoid facing yourself. You project your shadow onto others, destroying relationships and fueling conflict. You grow older, but not wiser. Your soul remains a stranger. In short, you survive, but you never truly live. But there is another path. Jung called it individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming whole. It means peeling off the mask of persona, facing the darkness of shadow, listening to the whispers of archetypes, and awakening the true self. This path is not easy. It demands courage, honesty, and deep inner work. You will confront parts of yourself you wish didn't exist. You will question everything you thought was you. You will feel lost, broken, and reborn. But on the other side of this journey lies freedom. You no longer live for approval. You no longer fear your shadow. You no longer chase illusions. You live as your authentic self, and that is the rarest, most powerful thing a human can achieve. So ask yourself, are you living your truth or someone else's story? Will you remain a mask, or will you dare to become whole? Because at the end of your life, the greatest tragedy is not what you failed to achieve. The greatest tragedy is never having met your own soul.